If you're like me, which hopefully you're not, you have a bunch of random dead animal parts that you've accumulated over the years. Like some deer bone that you've cut up, some random feathers you bought online, various seashells that you found places, and all sorts of sea stars and cut up crap like that. Fox and coyote claws, weird mother of pearl seashells. Well, I don't know what to do with these, and I am broke as hell because I need a new roof. So, what I'm going to do is turn these into cheap, kind of coasters for Christmas. So, love you, sis. Step one after assembling some of these, I have a ton more of this stuff, is to acquire molds for your coasters or make them. I'm going to be doing both. I have some exciting plans for coasters, including custom light up ones that are going to be embedded in there. I'm going to figure out a way to do it. The step after that, what you want to do is take your weird shells that are shiny, put them under here, and then pretend like your name is Kyle and this is drywall. And you should end up with some cool little fragments. These will be space fillers. And then you just keep doing that until you have enough of these and you figure out what design you're going to do on these coasters. Considering I have feathers and stuff from the ocean and stuff from animals on land, I'm probably going to be doing, land, air, and sea themed coasters. Oh, and I'm going to be doing the starfish upside down like that because they look way more interesting upside down than they do top. Come on, it's a no-brainer. So I'm going to do them upside down. I'm going to fill my resin in here first a little bit along around the edges and get like a 16th to an eighth of an inch tops filled in there. I'm going to let that partially cure, and then I'm going to start laying these in while it's tacky. Let it completely gel up, and then pour another layer on top when I'm convinced these are not going to be moving around in my mold. When working on something like this, where you're going to be using things that are hard to acquire and you're going to be putting them in something very permanent, it's best to gauge the size and then come up with a design ahead of time. That way you're not wasting animal parts, which I don't appreciate. I like to use everything if I can. And you come up with a neat design. Now, with me, there's not going to be enough of these things to go around. So each coaster is probably going to be mostly unique. I've got 4 starfish, but one of them is massive compared to that. So if I use that one, I'm going to probably be supplementing with some of these smaller parts or some of these little tiny seashells that I got. So be creative and just mindful of what you're going to be making. Come up with a design ahead of time. Fully assembled. These are still going to gel and cure up for the next couple of hours. But I got the 4 of these done, and I had a bunch of resin left over, so I made myself a skull out of raccoon finger bones. We'll see how these turn out. I had put a second layer of clear resin on here while they're in the curing process. The reason I'm doing that is so that the feathers don't absorb black resin, because I'm going to be putting a final layer of black resin on these, and I wanted to make sure nothing that I did gets overridden by another resin color. So the bottom of these are going to be black. It's going to make the lighter colors really pop out. I did it. I made a raccoon finger bone skull coaster out of random spare parts that I had. You can see along the edges there are some air bubbles, and that's because I didn't wait between this layer and the other layer to hit it with something hot like a hair dryer or my lighter that I use, my torch lighter, which I used on the backs of these, and it came out great. I do like that air bubble actually, so I don't mind that one. But these little guys on the edge, they're, they're kind of sharp. I'll sand them down. But overall, I'm happy with the way it came out. I like that you can still see the stuff from the side because of the layers that I did. And yeah, it's all good. I will be making a new mold of my own eventually. As a sneak peek, I did demold one of these early. I'm going to put it back in the mold shortly, and I'm not going to touch the surface. But I wanted to show you, one of the designs I did, which was the large starfish, a bunch of coyote claws, these random bird feathers, and some of that broken up piece of Kyle smashed shell that I have. I am glad that the starfish came out exactly as I wanted it to. I kept air bubbles from forming in it by putting resin in there as well as in this container. The starfish was like on its back, and when it was getting gooey but not completely cured, I put them together and then I poured my second layer on. So because no air bubbles formed in this because it was upside down, when I put it face open on the other resin, it turned out fine. So this has the same issues as the others with the air bubbles, but it is what it is. Next time I know I can do it differently. Fun fact, I figured this might happen, but when your starfish is too thick, it's going to poke through the back. It looks alive though. It definitely looks alive. So this and the others are definitely going to have to get hit with a belt sander. A few of the others have feather quills poking out through the back. Luckily, this can be easily sanded away.